Hi everyone, so my name is Venny. I am one of the career development consultants in our Careers and Employability team. My portfolio in particular is actually supporting international students. So that's been quite a new thing that we've done over the last few years, is have someone specifically in that role. But the main goal we do want for our students is to make sure that along their journey of studying at Waikato, that they are becoming employable and that they do finish their studies being the most employable version of themselves. I think probably the hardest part is for just international students to get their head around the fact that they don't need to, for example, an accounting student, you don't only have to look at the big four, KPMG, EY and the others, because we do see a lot of international students head towards these big companies, and that I understand that makes a lot of sense, but that's what we're here to say. Hey, look, those are great companies, but remember, we have all these other small and medium-sized companies that yes, it involves a bit of research and digging and finding out where they are and what they do. And I'm saying this in a positive way, is that we may have fewer big companies, but we have lots of smaller and medium-sized that are filled with opportunities, and we don't want to be only encouraging our students to look at the big companies. Yeah, something that we've definitely noticed as career development consultants with our international students is that they are coming to New Zealand, often doing a master's program, for example. They have actually come here with, a lot of experience and a lot of skills already. And one thing I find actually is some international students don't believe that what they've done before coming to New Zealand is worthwhile and worth mentioning and actually counts. And we're here to say it absolutely counts. That's international experience that is so valuable to New Zealand companies, because it means a different way of thinking. That's, international experience. So just want to say that, we're here to support those students to get into professional roles, to not be, going into a job that might be 3 steps back to what they were doing in their home countries. In New Zealand, there's a very wide approach to job searching. So yes, it can be online, but networking, approaching employers. So starting that before actually graduating, because often with networks, we want to build those relationships, and that takes time. A way that a lot of New Zealanders get jobs is through people. Then what does that say for international students? They need to start that networking process earlier, and they need to make it a priority. But I would say towards the end, if students have been networking throughout the year, or have been approaching employers or having conversations with employers, I would say reach out, let them know that you're about to finish, whether you want to meet with that person again, whether you kind of just want to get them thinking about you and the fact that you will be looking for work soon, and if there's anything that's coming up for that company. Finding part-time work is a great step for lots of reasons, of course, extra money, but have a chat with us first, because it's always good to actually be a bit more strategic about what part-time job you're looking for. Don't just think about it as you're just going for a job, getting your paycheck and going home. Use that opportunity. Engage with, after work events, talk to people in the tea room. All these little things are actually making you more employable by the day. A lot of students doing these courses might find themselves in a part-time job, say at a supermarket or a retail store. And I think what a lot of students aren't realizing is that once they're actually in any job in a big store or a big chain, and that's across New Zealand, is that you're in there. So even if it is a part-time packing job or a part-time checkout operator role, just encouraging students to remember they're in there. They've got access to all these different departments. They've got access to learning about that business and how it operates. They've got access to doing what we call job shadowing, so that's asking to tag along in someone's role that you might want to learn more about. So they're in. So even in those roles, that might just be their part-time work for some extra money, is really encouraging students, specifically those MBM students, is while you're in there, use that opportunity, use it to understand that business, meet people, because again, that is going to be the ticket to employment after graduation. And volunteering is a great way especially for international students who may not need to do part-time work or do part-time work and have a little bit of spare time, is to get out in the community and volunteer, because what you're actually doing is you're still gaining employability skills. You are meeting New Zealanders, you're getting a sense of understanding of New Zealand work culture, even if you're not doing part-time work. You're making connections. Again, remembering connections, networking is really, really crucial in New Zealand in terms of your career development. We are actually here for our students 2 years post they finish studies. So it's not the case that they finish studying and they've got no access to us and that's it, they're on their own. We're here, so they can still make those appointments. They can still come to the workshops. They can still attend, our events 2 years post they finish their studies. So I think that's really valuable information to know. We find that often students are quite shocked about that, but I actually often think that's when our students are really accessing us the most. Especially for international students where it is very overwhelming, come see us. We can guide you through that. We've got our job search workshops as well, which is a really great starting point to give students kind of the basics around how to start navigating, job searching, whether it is part-time or full-time. But also we are here for any students that do need that extra bit of support and guidance in navigating that.